On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Dude, Tom Homan is made a very veiled threat. I think it's pretty awesome. We're going to see what's going to happen, I'm sure, over the next short period of time. We're seeing a number of things start to occur when it comes to illegality of justice officials or people in high places. We are going to start to see some of the crazier stuff begin to happen. Of course, we've already had, I think, 3 different judges arrested, and I think one of them's out. Whatever the case is, major thing that's come up with the border. This is huge news. The border, Trump found a way around all these judges. It's done. Trump found a way. They're going to still try to stop him, but they can't because now it's unquestionably black and white, definitely a government problem, period. End of story. They don't get to have any say in the matter. States have no say in the matter whatsoever. This is going to be beautiful how this plays out. Got some other really good news that we want to bring in. Well, interesting news, I should say. Not all of it's good. Some of it's interesting. Some of it's good. Some of it's bad. Got a couple funky science news stories, too. Got a lot of good stuff. Let's get grooving. I wanted to start with this, and then, of course, I want to add an extra line at the end. So worry is a conversation you have with yourself about things you cannot change. Prayer is a conversation you have with God about things he can change. And what I add is mastery is knowing that God has already done that, and that's why it's in front of you now. Big difference. You guys might remember Jerry Seinfeld back when he was actually young. This is pretty funny what he says and extraordinarily true.
The word left itself is always associated with negative things. Have you ever noticed that? Leftovers, they're terrible. 2 left feet, left-handed compliment. On television, you ever see a crook named Righty? You never see that. Everything right, they make a positive thing. Right on, the Bill of Rights. You go to a party, there's nobody there. Where'd everybody go? They left.
Pretty damn funny, actually. Well, in my opinion, hence why I shared it. Trump truth this out. It's a wonderful days coming up, and he wants to celebrate it properly. Many of our allies and friends are celebrating May 8th as Victory Day, but we did more than any other country by far in producing a victory result on World War II. I am hereby renaming May 8th as Victory Day and World War II, and November 11th as Victory Day for World War I. We won both wars. Nobody was close to us in terms of strength, bravery, or military brilliance, but we never celebrate anything. That's because we don't have leaders anymore. That know how to do so. That know how to do so. There we go. Sorry. I guess you got to read that right. We are going to start celebrating our victories again. Amen, Trump. And thank you for giving me such a hard challenge of reading. It's just English. I know. Why are you having a hard time? We had a pretty gnarly earthquake in the southern waters of this planet, I guess, for flat earthers. I don't know. It's going to be kind of tougher to pinpoint. But it is down by Antarctica. And it is right by Chile and Antarctica, basically, right in the middle, kind of. Well, sort of. Closer to Chile than anything. Very large earthquake, 7.4. There was a tsunami warning that was in effect. It should have hit by now, I believe was the timing they were saying. The expectation was by 2:55 p.m. Eastern time. Right now it's 11:35 my time, Pacific. So, yeah, we would be, oh, no, not quite. Just before 12. So while I'm filming this is a possibility that the tsunami could come in. We'll see, but hopefully it hasn't. I was trying to get a fresh look on that, even going into this. Still the same stories, warning. So nothing necessarily jumping out yet. We'll see what happens. Stephen A. Smith, was asked if he would run for president or something to this effect. Somehow this got brought up on this little interview show they did with Donald Trump. And Trump's response, well, it seemed to surprise Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith may run for president, as you know. Do you have any advice for Stephen A. If he launches the run?
No, Stephen A. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. I love watching him. He's got great entertainment skills, which is very important. People watch him. You know, a lot of these Democrats I watch, I say they have no chance. I've been pretty good at picking people and picking candidates, and I will tell you, I'd love to see him run.
All right, there you go.
Love to see him run. right? It's good stuff. I mean, again, Stevens, he may be on the other side of the fence. He'll probably end up becoming independent by the time everything's said and done, but still. Donald Trump truth this as well. The Democrats are really out of control. They have lost everything, especially their minds. These radical left lunatics are into the impeachment thing again. They've already got two no-name, little-respected congressmen, total whack jobs both, throwing the impeachment of Donald J. Trump around for about the 20th time, even though they have no idea for what I would be impeached. Maybe it should be for cleaning up the mess that they left us at the border, or the highest inflation in our country's history, or perhaps it should be the competent withdrawal from Afghanistan or Russia, Ukraine, or attack of Israel on October 7th that only preceded because they allowed Iran to regain great wealth. These congressmen stated that they do not know or didn't know why they would impeach me, but just wanted to do it. The Republicans should start to think about expelling them from Congress for all of the crimes that they have committed, especially around election times. These are very dishonest people that won't let our country heal. Why do we allow them to continuously use impeachment as a weapon against the President of the United States, who, by all accounts, is working hard to save our country? It's the same playbook that they used in my first term, and Republicans are not going to allow them to get away with it again. These are total lowlifes who hate our country and everything it stands for. Perhaps we should start playing this game on them and expel Democrats for the many crimes that they have committed, and these are real crimes. Remember, Shifty Adam Schiff demanded a pardon, and that they had to use the power of the auto pen and a full pardon for him and the Unselect Committee of Political Thugs to save them from expulsion and probably worse. Which they sort of did, sort of not, though. And they've talked a lot about the auto pen. They've gone back. There's a company that's been looking at all the different signatures, and it basically appears that a huge majority, some people are saying all but one are signed that way, but when they break down the numbers, it's not quite that. But there was a period of time where 100% of them were signed by the auto pen. And then there's it's in the upper 60%, it's like in almost every time, 66%, 66.7 or whatever it was. And then there was like a 70-some%, I think, one period. So not insane numbers. But needless to say, whoever did the auto pen, they need to go back and look at a lot of that stuff. If it wasn't actually Joe Biden, and we can almost assume he wasn't aware of it, I mean, what's he going to come and testify and ask him, were you aware of it? He's like, I don't remember right now. Well, we're going to take that as a no. If you aren't aware of it now, you might not have been aware of it then. We don't know. So where this goes, we will see. That's for sure. Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife once begged judges for protection from him after alleged repeated abuse. We got audio that's come out talking about this. I'm not going to play the audio, but again, it's out there. We've got it. The information's there. The proof's there. This is a bad dude that all the Democrats are fighting for. They've, once again, just like George Floyd, they've taken somebody who really was a criminal, who is nothing but a problem, really, and got into a situation because of drugs and alcohol and other stuff, seems to have lost his life without a whole lot of help from others. And yet, we saw the blame shift in a different direction. Well, same thing here. We've got a total criminal, and everybody wants to act like he's like, you know, like, I don't know, Saint Peter or something, which reminds me of the Catholic thing. We'll be talking about that here in a second. Well, a few minutes. Stephen Miller, he shamed this MS Pro 13 nonsense, and this was pretty solid little bit that he did here to this press individual. Check this out.
This is a person that was a clear and present danger to the safety of the American people. And it is a sad reflection on the state of our media and many of the outlets represented in this room that you obsessively try to shill for this MS-13 terrorist. Well, no coverage occurred in your papers about any of the Americans that were raped and tortured and murdered by the illegals that Biden was importing into our country. You know, you talk about due process. The Biden administration made the decision to give extensive due process to two trained Nicaragua terrorists that were apprehended at the border just a couple years ago. They were two gentlemen. They were from Venezuela. They were members of trained Nicaragua. The Biden administration Border Patrol apprehended them and made the decision to provide them with extensive due process, put them onto a program known as supervised release, and put them on ankle monitors so that they could go through a lengthy legal judicial determination as to whether these legal aliens who had just set foot on U.S. soil might want to live in the United States for the rest of their lives. What was the result of that decision? What was the result of that choice that was made? Those two men kidnapped a young girl named Jocelyn Ungary from her family. They beat her, they sexually assaulted her, they tortured her, they stripped her, they murdered her, and they dumped her body. That is what the Biden administration's policy was. Most of your papers never covered her story when it happened. To the extent that you covered it at all, it was because President Trump forced you to cover it by highlighting it repeatedly over and over again. He had to shame you into covering it. And each and every one of you that sides over and over again with these MS-13 terrorists, to the extent that you have the financial means to do so, you all choose to live in condos or homes or houses as far away from these kinds of gangbangers as you possibly can. If I offered any one of you a rent-free home with no taxes to pay in any of these gang neighborhoods, and I said your neighbors are MS-13 terrorists or Mexican mafia or Sinaloa cartel or Tren de Aragua, I couldn't pay you to live there. But yet you, with your coverage, are trying to force innocent Americans to have these people as their neighbors, and that one day their daughter may be abducted from their home and raped and murdered. So you're not going to get an ounce of sympathy from this administration or President Trump for the terrorists who've invaded our homes and our country.
Like, right? I mean, damn, right? Damn is all I can say. I'm not going to play this whole 3 minutes 49. I'm not going to play any of it for that matter. But it's just a reminder that he beat his wife, got audio evidence of that. Now here's the Tennessee state trooper stating that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is hauling these people for money. It's 3 minutes and 49 seconds to get that phrase. I wasn't willing to give that much time. I'm sorry. But it's in there. And we talked about the story, by the way. So the Tennessee state trooper stopped them. They were told to get the information, get pictures of everybody, then let them go. That was what Chris Wray's directive was. Document it, but let them go. Continue moving these people, trafficking these people. Illegally, I might add, just for the fun of it. Now, Phil Mickelson, he's a famous golfer. For those of you that don't know that, I didn't. When I saw his name, I'm like, okay, who the hell's this? Had to kind of look into it a little. Says, how is this fighting for Americans? How is letting non-citizens vote in American elections a good thing? It is not. He is not representing America, its citizens, nor their best interests. He's a traitor. And he's referring to this little stupid speech by stupid Schumer.
They don't understand the sacredness of elections and keeping them fair. The kind of legislation, the kind of executive orders, which are so jaundiced, so slanted on the side of one party, are the antithesis of democracy. On the one side, Donald Trump recently issued an executive order that will coerce states to prevent millions of Americans from voting. On the other, Republicans in Congress are pushing the SAVE Act, one of the most destructive, dangerous voter suppression bills in recent memory. It is very reminiscent of Jim Crow. That's what Republicans want to do. They want to not only restore Jim Crow in the South, they want to have Jim Crow spread from one end of this country to the other. It will not happen. It will not happen. Let me be clear. I will not let this noxious bill, the SAVE Act, become law. Every Senate Democrat, every single one of us is united against it. They need 60 votes. The SAVE Act is dead on arrival. I'd like to say it louder so my friends in the House and in the right wing over here can hear. The SAVE Act is dead on arrival. Democrats.
So here's kind of, I don't know, this is what it's starting to feel like to me is going to happen. And this is just, one of the probable futures at this moment. I don't normally do this, you guys know that, but every once in a while. Kind of reasonably sure that we're going to end up having some really, really nasty stuff come out about certain senators that are dirty. And when that information comes out and that's proven and they have to step aside, I'd be amazed. I don't know what's going to happen, but we theoretically, if people are missing, we can still vote and take advantage of the fact that the numbers have changed. They've done it many times before in the past. It's kind of like like in hockey when you got a power play. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things. Obviously, the Brunson case is possibly going to come back into purview at some point. Again, I was talking to a friend this morning and was asking about the Supreme Court. When do we expect to get them involved? And maybe we're finding out that Roberts is a bad guy, or maybe it's all about timing. So I think there's a lot to this that most of us just don't know. And the true story is not being leaked. Any place that claims to know anything at all is not talking about. Anybody that actually knows what Trump's inner circle is doing is not talking about it. Anyone that claims to know is lying. And then anybody that's speculating, well, that's what they're doing. Speculating. It's cool. And some people are maybe a little more, maybe have some better options available to them. I don't know. So I feel like sometimes, too, you put you in the box too much and it's hard to get out of it, right? Sometimes being overly aware of how the system works sometimes makes it really hard to think outside the box. Schumer just, what a mess. Anyway, Justice Department's bringing a new tool for the border fight. This is the thing I think is brilliant. Brilliant. They are charging the first set of illegal immigrants with entering a restricted military zone in the southern New Mexico. Entering a restricted military zone is super federal crime, period. End of story. There is no district court anywhere in this state that has jurisdiction over that, period. Period. First off, you're not an immigrant, or you're not part of a state, so there's nobody that can really come to your rescue, but you've crossed in, you can immediately be removed. So that's one major thing that he's probably done with putting that strip across the whole border. Now, anybody that's gotten in since it was created, I think, is also screwed. So we'll see. We'll see what that does. But it's gonna create a little problem, I think, for the courts and certainly any people that sneak in going forward or smuggle anybody across the border. Anybody. If you smuggle across the border, if you don't go through a port of entry, you have traveled across a military zone. You could be just as an example, a resident of Maryland, and you drive across that border and you come back across that border in some place that's not a port of entry. Well, my friend, you've committed a federal crime. Period. So we'll see. I think that's huge. Trump turns to the U.S. Supreme Court to bid the strip protected status. Sorry, I'm still stuck on that strip on the border of the country, right? But they're going to strip the protected status from Venezuelan migrants. Right now, Venezuela is considered one of the four communist countries that we've undone what Biden was doing. Cuba, Venezuela, I forget, there's a couple others. Haiti, I think, might have been part of that, but so a mess of stuff going on. We'll see what happens if the Supreme Court picks it up. The interview was really hard. When you hear it, you couldn't really hear his response. So it's just better that, in fact, I was happy to see them write it out because I wasn't sure. I listened to it like 3 times. I'm like, what did he say? Anyway, someone asked him why the government isn't arresting local government officials running sanctuary cities. Border Czar Tom Homan said, "Wait until you see what's coming," with a big-ass smile on his face. Big-ass smile on his face. I don't know about you, but that screams, yeah, someone's getting their ass busted. Vatican firefighters have erected the chimney on the Sistine Chapel for papal election. So this is where the white smoke, black smoke, or whatever is supposed to come out as they start choosing the next pope. Now, I don't know, just wanted to spend a second on this because I'd been talking sort of about this without any sort of specificism because I forgot what it was, frankly. And then it finally got reminded to me. And I was like, oh, cool, let's look at it. So this whole prophecy of the popes, and this is kind of what I've been talking about and how I kept saying that, and I wasn't 100% sure because I'd never really seen the list. I just heard about it. But that the last pope was like the Peter the Roman or Peter the Rock or whatever it was, right? I think it was Peter the Roman or whatever. And that was always, I don't know, significant, right? But I didn't know if this guy, I thought this guy was like the last pope before him. As it turns out, he is. Pope Benedict the whatever the hell, his resignations, his death is coming. Anyway, just to get the skinny on this, I don't want to waste too much time. It's an alleged private revelation that was given to medieval figure Saint Malachy. Now, this is not accepted by the Catholic Church as anything at all. This is completely conspiratorial in the realms of who they are, all right, as far as all that stuff goes. All said, It's been stupid accurate in a lot of cases. I mean, you're connecting weird side dots, but the side dots work and it would make sense. But the prophecy consists of a list of 112 short phrases, enigmatic mottos in Latin that are supposed to represent the popes from St. Malachi's time onward. St. Malachi was the Archbishop of Armagh. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. It's in Ireland. I'm sure that G is not that hard, but don't know. But that was back in the 1100s. Reportedly made a visit to Rome, had this vision, and had to write down all the crazy stuff that he was seeing in his head. So the next to last motto in the prophecy of the popes has been associated with Pope Benedict the 16th. Since he is now at the end of his papacy, that would bring us to the last name in the prophecies of popes, which many have taken to indicate the final pope at the end of the world. The passage reads as follows: Peter the Roman, who will nourish the sheep in many tribulations, when they are finished, the city of 7 hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end. Now again, Catholic Church hates it. I will also say, and it's never really been released nor even speculated to the best of my understanding. Maybe someone's got something out there, but I don't want to hear it because frankly it's probably not true. And if God wanted me to see it, he would have showed it to me. So I don't think the actual information around the Fatima prophecies, there's 3 of them. The third one was apparently so bad they sealed it up. The Pope read it and he sealed it up, and many said that, the suspicion was that they were prophesizing the end of the Catholic Church. Or worse. Now, you guys have probably seen the serpent room inside the Catholic Church, inside the Vatican, and there's a couple other, there's this crazy statue of Jesus that's very demonic. So again, they've done a lot of this right in front of us. There's also, pretty sure, always been a black pope at the same time that there's a white pope. And so there's a lot of things about the Catholic Church that are concerning. So this final pope is supposed to be coming into play. Peter the Roman, at least, is the English equivalent of the phrase, I guess. The nourishing the sheep of many tribulations, that could be a lot of the stuff that Benedict, who was doing, and these guys maybe in the background are going to continue doing, maybe stuff around transgender and just weird stuff like that, right? Like, this might be the real place where the true colors of the Catholic Church happen. Reading some of the Biglino stuff, not trying to piss anybody off, but just a maybe possible connection. I do find that the Bible of Yahweh, which is a very specific Elohim, just to use proper Hebrew words for words that we've translated poorly. But Yahweh, a very specific Elohim, or a specific El for that matter, an individual, a singular Elohim, he might very well be coming back to pass judgment upon the failings of his teachings. It's very possible. He is a jealous God. It says it in the book. I'm not trying to make stuff up. So again, I don't know. I don't know if there's a weird tie-in. I do think this is one thing I've been very, very aware of since I was brought up Catholic, and I left the church for the most part. I mean, every once in a while I'll go to Mass with my family or something, and I'll still receive communion, and people say that's a sin, and I'm like, whatever. I don't think so. I disagree. I don't care really what people think for the most part, so it doesn't matter. But a lot going on, folks. We are at a transition in our history, and I think it's a unique transition on top of that. A lot of prophecy has been around this. As far as finance type stuff, pre-tariff surge in aircraft orders sends U.S. durable goods orders to record high. So just to put a lot of this in perspective and make it easier to understand, basically a lot of parts and service orders and supplies and things are being pulled in right now. So there's this huge ramp up of equipment or parts and all this. A surplus is being created essentially because the tariffs are coming. Right now they can get the stuff without the tariff. Pretty soon they won't. So the tariffs are coming. They're running around like Paul Revere. The tariffs are coming. The tariffs are coming, right? And they're freaking out. So there's this huge push to bring in a bunch of stuff that'll last us a little while. And many are hoping long enough to get Trump to get us through this. And Trump's had meetings with these execs and basically probably told them, here's what's up. Here's how it's probably going to affect you. Here would be some of my recommendations to help. And this is about how long I hope it will last. But I don't know. I'm asking for your support. So we're seeing some of those things play out. Futures jumped. The stock market pretty good today. A lot of it is there's discussions around China and the U.S. reaching agreements to talk. Now, what's really, really funny about this is China's like, we haven't reached out to them at all. And they've totally reached out to us. We've talked to China. And they're like, nah, we haven't really talked, is what China keeps saying. They're like, shut up. We don't want our people to know we've been talking to you, all right? And we're like, yeah, but we don't want our people to think this is just us either. So, no. So Rubio's saying China is reaching out on economic issues. Now, there's a lot of discussions. There's a lot of reports that China is not doing as well as China and everybody likes to think. China makes a lot of stuff, but one of their newest submarines sank at the dock. Why? I don't know, because they made it. Normally, submarines don't do that. Or if they start leaking, you usually are able to deal with it in another way and then hopefully fix it or get it, onto a dry dock if you have to. No, they didn't do that, it just sank. So China, again, they make a lot of ships. A lot of these ships are shitty. A lot of these ships probably couldn't make it across the entire ocean. They just don't have the range, don't have the ability. Now, they've got some decent stuff, but again, give them a lot of credit, but they don't have a lot of experience, especially in submarine warfare. That's something us, Britain, and Russia are extraordinarily good at. We are stupid good at it. We're very, very good at it. I think Russia is too. China quietly walks back a quarter of U.S. import tariffs amid economic crunch. See, it was actually starting to hurt them. Factories, they weren't able to make stuff. It's funny, we were a little more connected than they wanted to admit. This reminds me of one of the things, Hunt for Red October. Ronald Savins used this analogy a bunch of times, and it worked back then specifically, what he was talking about. But I actually think it's kind of what we did to China, too. I think we literally turned our entire machinery right at them. And we're like, this is the only time we'll ever be able to do this and pull it off. And if we wait 4 more years, China will own us. Literally. China knew it, and they were building in that direction, and they had all the help from everybody. Trump just fudged that all up. Hardcore. So yeah, they're secretly pulling back some tariffs on certain things. Yeah, it was costing them. And that's what Trump knew. He's like, I think we can withstand this longer than China can. Period. We could withstand high prices or not buying shit for a few months. China, it will destroy their economic their machine. Once you start shutting down the machine, it's very hard to ramp it back up. People don't want to work as hard. It's hard to do. They were at probably peak performance. I don't know what their peak actually works out to. I don't think it's probably ever 100%. Sure, but I have no idea. I've never seen metrics like that as far as effectiveness of a factory. But nonetheless, a lot going on. Trump's newest Iran sanctions. It's another shot across China's bow. China's the really only country that is buying gobs of oil from Iran. Huge amounts of oil from Iran. And basically what Trump is saying is, look, anybody that does this, we're going to sanction you. So this puts China in a really tough place because they're literally working with someone that we consider to be dangerous. They've got a weapon that they're likely going to use or have used on this planet. China, that's going to affect you too. You really shouldn't support this. China's literally going to have to walk away from Iran's oil. Maybe buy some from us or Russia. I mean, they've got that option. Saudi Arabia if they want, whatever. I don't know if who's not willing to give it to China and who is. But it sure as hell can't be Iran. This is going to get interesting. Again, there's dark fleets. We talked about that yesterday, I believe. So bad news is now spreading to the hard data. The Fed, it's looking like, has really screwed up. They're dragging their feet. And there's a lot of this information kind of floating around right now. Just that they're waiting too long. That everywhere else they should have been lowering the interest rates because what we're seeing is a slowdown in the economy, which we don't necessarily want. Now, some are saying that the GDP is going to go up. I think maybe it could because of investment that's happening, and that might be enough to push that number up positive, which psychologically is important. But there's a lot of games going on right now when it comes to the economy and how they're playing this and how Trump's playing it, what he knows he needs to do, how long that can take, what can he get done quicker. The dude's being super smart about it. I'd love to shadow Trump for like a day. Even if I got to like take caffeine all day just to be able to stay up 23 hours. I mean, I could do it. I've done it before. Done it many times for that matter. but I would love to shadow the dude and just see all the places where he's doing stuff, thinking about stuff. Just, I mean, obviously couldn't get him to explain every moment because it would just slow him down too much. It's like trying to train people. For those of you that have ever had to train anybody, you know what I'm talking about, right? You take something that you do mindlessly because you've done it so many times. Now I've actually got to explain every step of it to someone and what I'm thinking and why I do what I do. And you're like, fuck, I'm exhausted. Like, a day of work hasn't been this exhausting to me in forever. And you realize, oh yeah, because I've had to explain every stupid little thing. Ugh. But it's how you train, or as Law of One would say, it's how you teach, learn, teach. And that's exactly what all of us are kind of going through right now. So the economy is a very interesting one. Economy has to change. Has to. It's being shifted into more of a commodity asset-backed system. That is happening. Don't know what happens when the Fed thing reverses, because if Trump can do this and do it with as little danger as possible or as little damage as possible, then switching out the Fed reserve notes to Treasury notes will be an easy thing. It should hopefully be a 1-to-1 ratio, which would be fantastic. That's, I think, slightly optimistic, but could. Who knows? But we are seeing I was reading an article that was talking about how the way inflation is, it seems to be coming down, which is good. There is a story about Tokyo flooding our markets with Treasury notes, which would actually cause problems in that regard. And they got about $1 trillion worth. And they're talking, they think it's like a threat that they could threaten us and dump them, but they don't. They're not going to use it as a negotiating practice or term because it would basically just screw up a good thing that's going on already. So I think they're trying to put it out there like, we just wanted you to know that we got this, you know, like not that we're going to do anything with them. I just wanted you to know. And I think it's kind of like what Trump did with the economy. Just want you guys to know that I can mess this up. I can do whatever I want to it with it. Frankly, he knows the numbers are rigged for the large extent too. So Trump, he's playing the cards right. And he's either going to force the Fed's hand or he's going to fix this and they're going to get stuck just eating it every single day. Either way, we win, right? So a lot of these things are happening. If you're paying close attention, you kind of see it day to day. It's certainly hard to see but the way the stock market's up, down throughout the day is just a trip, frankly. So Dow is up quite a bit. Not huge day or anything, but it's gained back a lot of what it's lost over the last little bit, which helps Trump's cred for sure. A lot, in fact. Gold's up a little bit. The oil price it was up. Wow, bummer. Damn, I don't know what changed in the oil thing. Earlier, it might have been the Iran thing. It might be the Iran thing. Ooh, and maybe that's why supply had to kind of come up. I don't know. Trump was talking about how gas prices were $1.98 nationwide average now. And I was just like, it just pisses me off so bad. Regular 97 was it's like $4 right now. $4 a gallon right now for me. So that sucks. What doesn't suck is Healthy Home. Whoops, I'm keeping your camera off too long. That sucks also. Healthy Home, incredible products. Just amazing products. First off, STEM Active. I rave about this stuff because of what it's doing. I've got another friend. I've told you guys about my cop friend, Laura. She is a sweetheart, first off. I see her once a week at Starbucks. Me and my girlfriend love talking to her. I actually gave her some of the collagen stuff because she's been having a lot of stress in her job, and my girlfriend's been stressing a lot too. So we've been having some hair discussions that I, for the most part, just stay out of. But we've talked a lot. She's got a lot of hip stuff. She carries a lot of gear with her and stuff like that. And she has noticed an enormous difference using the STEM Active. And she's only 1 week into the collagen. And she's noticing a huge difference just in how she feels her joints. Like, she's actually noticing a big difference in 1 week of using the collagen peptides. Now, stem cells are all about healing your body. Any place where your body needs healing, it needs cells. That's really what healing is. You bring in new cells to replace damaged ones and or missing. And that's what stem cells are. They're cells that can become any other cell. They're the only types of cells in the body that can do that. Your body creates stem cells. We're not giving you any stem cells. There's no stem cells in one of these pills. There's ingredients that cause your body to enhance the number of stem cells it creates. It makes you healthier in the sense that you're able to heal easier. It allows that to happen more simply. STEM Active is a great product. They got the pills. Some say they're large, and they're about $5 more expensive than the gel, which is just a liquid. This is what my girlfriend likes. She gets the gel. She doesn't like pills. I get the pills because they're easy, and I don't know. I mean, the gel's all right. I like the collagen's a liquid. It's pretty tasty. The Prime, which I love. This is a powder. This is delicious, though. There's these little single-use packs, if you will, like a Via coffee thing or whatever. And then you rip the top off and just, delicious. Balance is some transdermal. It's supposed to help your body regulate hormones better as we get a little older. And it's transdermal. You just literally put a little on both your wrists and just rub it together, and bada bing, bada boom, you're doing good. Balance is also funny in that it seems a little expensive, but from what we understand, especially compared to the way most of this stuff is dosed out, if you will, it actually can last way over a month. In fact, there's some people that are up like 3 months because it just takes a little for them and they're feeling groovy. They don't need to use gobs of it. Maybe some people are just like slathering it more. I don't know. But it seems to last longer than a month. Let's just say that. It probably depends on how you use it. But this is supposed to help. It helps people sleep. It's helped their moods, their hungers, just so many different things. Their body temperature feelings and all that, right? Mood swings. A lot of that. I've talked about the collagen peptides, incredible. It helps with, sagging skin, sore muscles, joints, discomfort, all that stuff. Lifeless hair, helps grow hair, by the way. Collagen, yeah, hello. One of the most important proteins in the body. Collagen, boom. He's an easy way to do it. Also keep in mind there's 15 packs. This is one of the only things that's also really not packed out where you're going to need to get 2 of them a month if you want to do one every day, which I recommend, but it's up to you. Prime is a bunch of extra energy. It's a nitric oxide booster. It makes your vessels like kind of expand, and it makes more blood like get through. It's just freaking awesome how it works. You literally take it, and it's like almost instant, man. It's really weird how quick, because it's a fine powder, and it gets into your system very quickly. And it's not like you feel jittery or no. You just got more energy. I don't know. You're just doing stuff, and you're like, I'm doing more than I normally would. Maybe moving not even moving faster, just moving with more confidence, more strut, if you will. And then we've got STEM Active for pets. It's actually it's like $65 or something like that. It's significantly less expensive than a lot of the products. And this is a good one for your little guys and gals. Because if they've got any sort of injuries, they've had a surgery, any of that kind of stuff, right? This helps with their healing process. It makes them able to heal faster and better. Quicker. I mean, that's what you're going for, right? You want them back on their feet. I mean, I highly recommend, of course, Pet Club stuff, danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Definitely for your animals on a daily basis. That Coriolis versicolor, that's awesome stuff. That's like kind of like a constant anti-parasitic that you're giving your animal every day, and it does have that effect on them, and you can't overdo it. But it's an issue of, you don't want to give too much food. But this is another way to make sure the healing process in your animal is enhanced if it needs to be. Again, I recommend this more if there's been an injury or surgery or maybe something's wrong, they've got open wounds, any sort of weird stuff like that. Like this would definitely be a big help in that regard. Again, powerful products. I really, really love this company. I think you're going to love it too. I mean, I hear from so many eyewitnesses. Myself, dislocated shoulder. It was hurting when I'd work out. It doesn't anymore. It's powerful products. The collagen stuff, too. I kind of really recommend both of those together because you're just going to be amazed at what a little bit of long-term use does. You will be feeling so much better, and stuff that used to hurt won't be hurting anymore. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Hit the shop tab to shop away. If you're going to join, I highly recommend you join as an executive member. You actually get the best pricing, and the only caveat is you have to buy a product. So just find one of the things that you wanted to get. Your STEM Active or the collagen, and there's some packaged stuff that'll give you free shipping for life, and there's just some really cool stuff. It's just a much better deal, better pricing. You can actually get people under you if you want, ever. Like if you love the product that much, you could actually start making a little side money if you want, but you don't have to. You get the best pricing. You get a free shipping. You can get some really cool stuff. So if you're going to join, I recommend you go down the executive member path and then just try to set up an auto ship. It's going to benefit you. You save a little money doing that too when you're an executive member. So a lot of little perks just to kind of give you guys some of the ins and outs of how this company works. But they're incredible products, and they're coming out with new stuff slowly but surely. I like the fact that it's a small product catalog. Just makes it easy. Good stuff. Healthy living. You focus on health, you'll become healthier. It's just how it works. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. All right, let's do this. Let's rock and roll. Rumors of power struggles with the Chinese Communist Party continue. U.S. Central Intelligence Agency published 2 videos. I'm going to play this 2:45. I don't think they play all the videos, but I think they give a taste of how it works. And knowing that the Trump administration is behind this CIA, I'm pretty sure, this seems very much up their attitude because it's very highly produced, though the CIA has probably always been like that. Whatever, this might help you realize that China's screwed because this will be effective with a number of people. China is losing power. CCP is being dismantled. I'm reasonably sure at this point now.
A help wanted notice specifically for Chinese officials. The Central Intelligence Agency published 2 short films on its platforms on Thursday. They described the opportunity as a way out for Chinese officials struggling to survive amid the regime's infighting and internal struggles. One of the videos depicts senior Chinese officials who live in fear of becoming victims of the party's purges. The other depicts mid-level officials who exist in the shadow of their superiors. The CIA gave details on what it's most interested in as part of the video's descriptions. That is special access to insider information within the regime's senior circle or exclusive intel on China's state security, trade, diplomacy, and the high-tech sector. As for the timing of the videos, why now? Tang Jingyuan has been a China affairs analyst with the Chinese language edition of NTD for years.
First, we're seeing a major internal power split emerging within the Chinese Communist Party. The second key factor is that ever since the Trump administration took office, the CCP has been treated as the United States' top strategic competitor. Naturally, when the U.S. sees the CCP as its primary rival or even its main adversary, it urgently needs to understand the true intentions of that adversary. I believe these 2 major factors have led the CIA to increase its efforts to gather and understand authentic intelligence from inside the CCP.
Right now, the Chinese military circle is undergoing some major power frame shakeups. Recently, multiple senior military officials closely tied to regime leader Xi Jinping have reportedly been purged. One of the CIA's videos hints at that situation, saying it can offer a secure future for Chinese military officers in exchange for internal information. David Zhang is the host of the program China Insider. Here's his take.
Without these channels, you really have no idea what's really going on inside the party, and that speaks volume to how just opaque and how dark it is within the party system right now. It is a great opportunity right now that the CIA is willing to offer these to Chinese officials, because we know the future of the CCP is going to be its downfall and not some next stage of rising up in the world. And so right now, the CCP officials who choose to side with the right side of history, I do believe it's a great opportunity to expose especially the atrocities in the human rights as well as its geopolitical ambitions.
Analysts point out that the videos also serve a diplomatic purpose, heaping pressure onto the Chinese regime in the midst of a heated trade war.
Her accent tripped me out a little bit. Anyway, it was, CIA put out a very good video. It's all in Mandarin and all this stuff, and it is meant to bring some of those CCP people over here. We'll not only protect you, but you're obviously going to give us some wonderful secrets. Five Eyes, United States just did something very, very weird. I mean, kind of. I don't think so. I think it ties around Iron Dome. I think it ties into that directly, in fact. But he gave our Five Eyes, finally, for the first time ever, a little bit of inside information and some access to, well, what is some of our most sensitive military intelligence so far. I think that they say that because it's being publicly faced. I think we've got way more sensitive stuff already that we're not even showing them yet, but we're just giving them a taste. Like, here's what we're doing already, just so you know. And they'll be like, oh, okay, sorry. So anyway, they've been sharing this information with the most sensitive information intelligence on China and Russia's space operations with the UK and other members of the Five Eyes Global Intelligence Group. Until this month, the work of Space Delta 9, it's a unit focused on America's orbital warfare, was largely meant only for U.S. officials with top secret security clearance. However, in a move that a Space Delta 9 spokesman described to the Times as momentous, British military chiefs have been allowed to observe operations at the unit's base in Colorado. They've got other members, obviously Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Yeah, or soon to be our fifth state. And the U.S., of course, we're the Five Eyes with Britain. So this is a big deal. They're letting people see what some of our anti-satellite abilities are, which we've done, some basic stuff when we shot down one publicly, but we haven't really told anybody, especially if that little X-42 or whatever, I don't know, whatever the hell that plane is, that the space plane that goes up has recently landed. It's probably going to go back up soon. So again, we're kind of preparing, I think, for some of what, hey, so here's the deal. Here's what we can do. And, yeah, if you want us to protect you, it's going to cost you money. Otherwise, yeah, it's cool. You guys got it. This is how you do it. All right. Start building your own shit. Trump signs executive order halting federal funds to NPR and PBS. I'm sure a judge will get involved and say, you've got to give them the money. But until that happens, it's awesome. That's freaking sweet. Unearthed emails confirm Biden admin heavy-handedly went after Peter Navarro. I think this is sort of known already, but we've got actual emails coming out from Julie Kelly. I think she's been breaking this with Senate Grassley. Demonstrated the collusion between the Biden DOJ, the D.C. U.S. Attorney Matt Graves, and Washington FBI to pursue an indictment and schedule the arrest of Peter Navarro in 2022. So a lot of information's coming out. We'll continue to get more and more of it, and we will share when that comes. House has passed a resolution to stop California from banning gas-powered cars. It ain't going to get through the Senate easily yet, but it handedly passed the House. A whole bunch of people didn't vote, it seems, but yeah, the yeas was 245, even 35 Democratic yeas, and the nays was 164 only Democrats. There was 10 no votes from the Republicans and 14 no votes from Democrats, whatever. It handedly passed. Donald Trump trooped this out. We are going to be taking away Harvard's tax-exempt status. It's what they deserve. Yeah, it's going to piss some people off as well. I love that he's going to war with Harvard. I just think that is beautiful. Okay, this is I don't know, just a funny story to me. So this AP News story, which is stupid, they said more than 20 of the agency's roughly 60 travel staff will be reinstated, according to the FDA. Right? And they're making a big deal about it, like Trump's rehiring people they fired. DOGE is rehiring people they fired. Well, here's the thing. You're saying that we rehired people. So in this case, it's a third of them. Okay, that's cool. We did it in an accident. We're hiring them back. No big deal. But what you're failing to talk about, AP, and this is where you guys are going to unfortunately falter, but for you, unfortunate, I guess. It's going to make my job harder just because you're not doing your job anymore. But you guys fail to say, basically 1/3 of the people that were there are needed. That's the reality of this. Oh, they hired back 20. Yeah, they only needed 20 out of the 60 we were paying for. So, yeah, we hired back a third. We accidentally fired everybody. All right, we hired back only 1/3 of them. We still saved 2/3. That's significant. And AP makes it sound like they just failed. No, they didn't. This is beautiful. And they hired them back. This is strange to me that the Supreme Court Justice is doing this, but Ketanji Brown Jackson, a.k.a. Jumanji, has forcefully condemned attacks by President Donald Trump and his allies on judges who have blocked Trump administration policies, warning Thursday that the increasingly hostile rhetoric poses a dire threat to the country's political fabric. Said, quote, "The attacks are not random. They seem designed to intimidate those of us who serve in this critical capacity. The threats and harassment are attacks on our democracy, on our system of government, and they ultimately risk undermining our Constitution and the rule of law." By the way, where were you, Jumanji, when Kavanaugh was literally had a dude just barely outside his house with a weapon, was planning on killing him? Where were you on that one? Where were you on the fact that these people have been literally making insane noises, making it impossible to live in their homes because they didn't like the fact that the justices were holding the constitutional line? Where were you on that there, Jumanji? I'm just curious. And again, I use Jumanji because it just sort of rhymes, and I'm saying this only because I think it's funny. I think there's a bunch of people that probably say that's racist, which I think is hilarious. Because there's been 2 Jumanji movies. One of them was pretty much all white people. The other one was pretty much all black people. So either way you go, Jumanji's not racist. It's just funny. So anyway, Jumanji. Justice Jumanji. Is that better? Nah, sorry. She deserves the respect. I got you. No, I hear you. I hear you. President Trump has asked Pam Bondi to take action against the 4 states that have overstepped their legal bounds in energy regulation. The regulations only weaken America, its security, and give advantage to our adversaries, according to the DOJ. This has to do with Hawaii, Michigan, New York, and Vermont over unconstitutional state climate actions, much like that car thing that they shot down from California. Big lawsuit going on. Trump DOJ sues insurance giants over alleged Medicare kickbacks. Essentially how this works, kind of a long story, but doesn't need to be. So this MA program, which what the hell does MA stand for again? The Medicare Advantage program. I don't know. Some of you guys might know about it more than I do. I don't mean that in any big way, but I do have a slightly older audience than a lot of people. But the MA program allows Medicare beneficiaries to enroll in private insurance companies' MA plans. Beneficiaries often rely on insurance brokers to help them select the plan that is best for them. But rather than acting as unbiased stewards, the defendant brokers allegedly directed Medicare beneficiaries to the plans that offered by insurers that paid brokers the most in kickbacks. So they had a little scheme going on. The major insurance companies, along with these brokers, had a deal going on. Kickbacks were happening. You promote me, I'll give you money. What do you think? They're like, done deal. Thanks for playing. This has been fun. We'll make a ton of money. And they literally started getting all of their people to only promote the best choice. And I'm sure they didn't pay that money fairly either, right? Like if the MA got paid $1,000 per person, just making numbers up because I doubt it's that much. Maybe it is. Who knows? Right? The company got $1,000 and maybe the salesperson gets $200, maybe, right? And the company keeps the rest. It's on top of disgusting. It's gross. Social Security cuts overpayment withholding rate to 50%, down from 100%. I don't know how often this happens. Frankly, anybody that gets overpaid on Social Security, it's one, it sucks. Two, if it ever happens, keep that money aside because they're coming back for it. And 3, anybody that ever thought, it's just free money, that's unfortunate too, because it's going to bite you in the ass. So whatever the case is, anytime where overpayments happened, at least in my girlfriend knows these really well because she's got a lot of friends, but the SSA, they reinstated full 100% on March 27th. I think they're going to go back on that to 50%. And the other one was the SSI, Social Supplemental Security Income. They're going to get the 10% withholding. So if they got overpaid, they're only going to take 10% at a time. I think these are the people that it's not actual Social Security. It's not you're not retired. You're actually disabled or whatever. I think that's what that one is. Maybe I'm backwards on them, but anyway. Like I said, my girlfriend always corrects me on these things. Like her husband was, they got another friend of the family or family member that's disabled. It is some crazy stuff. Anyway, it is what it is. If you overpay, they're going to come back and take 50% of that money in the very next payment until they finally pay it off, and then you'll finally start getting your full money back. So it used to be a lot less than that. Biden administration changed it way down. They thought it was unfair to people, but it's like, your overpayments are kind of messed up too, and we were so bad at establishing any of that errors anyway. So I don't know. I think it's a move in the right direction. Got a couple great videos for DOGE talking about some of the just insanely ridiculous shit they found. That's just awesome.
And thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban.
Okay.
So
try to hide the evidence.
Right. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years. So you'd have to ask the question, well, why would somebody do that? The DOGE team, fortunately, was able to recover that data with the help of a few great employees at the Institute of Peace. And I think the most troubling thing was they received $55 million a year from Congress, and any money that went unspent, instead of returning that to Congress, they would sweep it into a private bank account, which had no congressional oversight. And that's what they would use to fund things like events at their headquarters and the private jets. And so I think it's a great example because most Americans don't know what's going on at a lot of these smaller agencies. And this is, I think, the most extreme case of some of the wasteful spend that we're finding.
So the agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
Yes.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one, yes, a cover-up. Yes.
It's a cover-up.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going from taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ, and we were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
I love these kids are like 14. This is so rad. We are taking down the deep state, and it is delicious. That's all I can say. Some people are pissed off that they're kind of laughing, and they're like, this is no joke. I mean, it's not, but at the same time, this is how meetings go, folks. If you've never been in a board meeting or in a higher level meeting, yeah, they're actually sometimes kind of fun. I don't know, some stodgy places maybe don't, but any good place to work usually does. There's usually some light level banter, if you will, so long as you know how to keep it within the limits. It's always a trick for me. All said, primetime goes inside DOGE headquarters, so we've got some more awesome stuff. Check it out.
Sure. So actually, a lot of great work at the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts, there was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything. Yeah. There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc. And so the one change that DOGE made with the Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so, yes, nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything. But as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. That's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes. They were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums. For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger until they're literally renting out stadiums.
What's $1 million to rent out a stadium?
Fraud in flagrante delicto, okay?
I have no idea what he said there at the end. It sounded very like Latin-y or something, but probably smart. One of them smart things. Key FBI official involved in the Bureau's cyber efforts who was linked to the censorship of the Hunter Biden laptop and to the FBI's purported anti-disinformation efforts has been removed from his post as well. Elvis Chan, he's still listed on his LinkedIn as Assistant Special Agent in charge of the cyber branch for the San Francisco division of the FBI, has been the subject of congressional Republican efforts to get to the bottom of the role the Bureau played in decisions by social media companies to censor New York Post stories on the laptop hard drive belonging to President Joe Biden's son. He's no mas. Donald Trump posted this, or truth this, says, I am pleased to announce the nomination of Whitney Hermandorfer, whatever, to serve as the judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. Whitney has been serving the great people of Tennessee in the Attorney General's office, where she has strongly litigated to courts to protect citizens from federal government overreach. Former co-captain of the Princeton University, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're getting another judge in. That's pretty cool. All right, this is long, but I've got I don't know, Russell Brand's another one of those lefty guys that I love. I've always loved Russell Brand, even though he was kind of little progressive, even for my taste back in the day when it was okay to, I don't know, 10 years ago, when it wasn't weird to see progressive people, but they're like, they're just progressive, whatever. Like, that doesn't seem that, we didn't seem nearly as far apart as we do today. Tucker Carlson posted this in regards to Russell, his rape charges. It's really sad, actually. Russell Brand was once a famous left-wing actor celebrated by the British establishment. Then he criticized the government for using COVID to turn the UK into a totalitarian state. The accolades abruptly stopped. A government TV station accused Brand of committing sex crimes against anonymous women they refused to name. Government officials called for his opinions to be scrubbed from the internet. Last month, British prosecutors charged Brand with rape and sexual assault. None of the charges are backed by hard evidence. All of them supposedly took place more than 20 years ago, one of them in the mid-90s. The entire case is transparently political and absurd. A near-identity replay of the fake rape charges authorities brought against Julian Assange 15 years ago. Russell Brand, whose youngest child is barely a year old, now faces life in prison. He has no shot at a fair trial because Britain is no longer a free country. Over the last few years, millions of foreigners have applied for asylum in the United States. Russell Brand actually deserves it. Say a prayer that the Trump administration comes to his rescue. I actually kind of sort of hope that's true. That would be cool. Actually, kind of in a weird way. It would piss off Britain so much. I would enjoy that as well. And I would know you're mad. I wouldn't know it by looking at you. I'd just know you were because of what we did. It'd be more fun that way. Maine and the Trump administration have agreed to a settlement. Terms are undisclosed. But leading the state to withdraw its legal action regarding blocked funds for food aid programs. It seems as though Trump has gotten them to, I hate to say it, but take a knee. Right? I mean, really, no one should kneel before anyone. I'm assuming they're not taking a knee before Trump per se, because Trump is not God, obviously, right? Nobody should kneel before anybody. Only God or Jesus or whatever, whatever that proper word is for you guys. A legal alien smuggler's boat was rammed by CBP officials off the coast of California. This dude wasn't going to stop. They seem to have all gotten arrested, but he wasn't about to stop. I think they somehow jacked the boat here at the very end, but you could tell shore was quite close. It's not super long, but it is sort of enjoyable. Check it out. Oh, yeah. No noise. Always fun that way, when you get to fill in the blanks. Oh, no, you're scratching my paint job. Obviously, the cops don't care. You ever seen the way they drive their cruisers? Holy crap. They'll jam right up into you. They don't care. Well, there's a dent. Hang on, let me slam your head on the hood one more time. There you go. Now we got dents on both sides. I've seen it. I know. TWC, just good company. The Wellness Company. TWC.health/OTF. TWC.health/OTF. I shouldn't just say that fast. TWC.health/OTF. There we go. Great shopping here. First off, longevity recharge, healthy support. They've just peak metabolism. They've got a lot of really, really, really awesome supplements. I'm actually glad they cleaned this up a little bit. There's an all supplements you can go to. They got a bunch of them. You have an issue sleeping, all that stuff. They've got everything. They've also got some really cool wellness farms as well. They've got meat boxes. They've got bison. They've got a lot of really, really good stuff. Broccoli sprouts, all sorts of wellness farm stuff that you can order, which is really, really cool if you want like super, super fresh and organic food, basically. Again, spike protein detox, emergency preparedness. They got it all. Weight loss, clean and detox, aging, and their anti-aging is really good. We're going to actually get there in a second, I think, now that I realize they did change some of this, but we'll find it that way. Kits, though. Contagion kit's huge. The contagion kit's the one that's got the ivermectins. It's got the hydroxychloroquine. It's got like a whole bunch of really, really good stuff that's antiviral. It is your one-stop shop antiviral in case something happens. It's supposedly for one person. That's what they say. I don't know. There's quite a few pills. I'm just going to say I'm not a doctor, but I would not have a problem trying to make sure I had one of those for two people. I think it'll get through. Just don't ever tell anyone that's the case. That would be wrong. And it's, of course, just for one person. That's all it is. And I don't know. I guess the firearm, I must have lost it in the boat that sank. That you probably don't know about either. They got first aid kits. They got travel kits. They've got kits I recommend for your family. The medical kit, too, has got a lot of amoxicillin. It's like antibiotics and a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. Again, these come from doctors. This isn't illegal. This is completely legal. It is very, very good stuff. And we've got like Dr. McCullough and all these guys are a part of this. Drew Pensky. Yeah. So a lot of good stuff. Bestsellers, let's see. We got the ivermectin mebendazole. This one is big time. Let's see. Peak metabolism, longevity. These are both really, really good ones. Right. So I've talked about the parasite cleanse. It's a cleanse. It's a 3-month supply. Ivermectin, mebendazole. It's 25. I don't know why I say it weird every time. I like that. 25 milligrams of ivermectin and then 250 milligrams of mebendazole. You get a pill every day or 2 pills, however it works. It's a 3-month supply. This is a way to destroy all the parasites in your body. If you understand what those mean and that means, this is a very inexpensive way to probably make a huge difference in the next test you're about to get. If you know what I mean in that regards. So highly recommend it. This is one of the best-selling things right now because it works so well. It's the gold standard. They're calling it out. Mebendazole and ivermectin, putting those two together, and lights out. Peak metabolism. Almost 9% of Americans have diabetes and over 50% are overweight. The modern American diet does nothing to help. So glycemic control and weight loss is possible naturally. Peak metabolism can support you on your journey to better health. So again, it helps with your metabolism. That's an important thing to kind of nail down. It's why a lot of people say you should eat in the morning, and it does help. And there's maybe a fine balance in how you can find all that, but they've got some great products that really help you work that. Longevity as well. This is a good one that helps you stay alive longer, which some people are all about. But it's got NR and glutathione, and it just helps with youthful cells. It just helps with a lot of the, I think the, what do they call it, the antioxidants and all that kind of nonsense, right? So it's big help, right? Targeting the root causes of aging, liposomal glutathione, the master antioxidant, nicotinamide riboside. Okay, for all you people that have heard that nicotine's good for you, yes, smoking cigarettes as a form of doing it is not good for you. In fact, there's so much crap in cigarettes, unless you're rolling your own, but there's still probably more chemicals than just straight nicotine. Again, not my place to talk. I used to smoke. I smoked for 21 years. Talked about it a lot. So anyway, that's in there. Resveratrol. So a lot of good stuff in helping your cells stay healthier longer. Good stuff. Longevity, always. So go to twc.health/OTF. That's twc.health/OTF. Again, more healthy choices and keep you alive longer. That's my plan anyways. We got a new settlement. It's been reached. It hasn't been signed by the parents. But this is in regards to Ashley Babbitt and the government and their wrongful death or killing of her. So hopefully it's a pretty solid deal. Hopefully the Babbitts are happy with it. Hopefully they don't get greedy or anything weird. But we'll see. See what happens. Trump proposes a $163 billion cut to the federal budget. He's asking for, I think, $150 billion more for military. So at least he's found a bunch of places where he can shave that out. So that's good stuff. Also, Pete Hegseth has given the Army kind of a new orders, if you will, I guess. He's asking them to find ways to make our guys better, get rid of a bunch of crap that we don't need, essentially save us some money and thin us down, but get us ready to move forward. I want you to start thinking about AI, how we can use that. So, and again, he just has this big thing, but I mean, some of it's about trimming so we can pump in more money but not have it go to stupid stuff. So hopefully we get to see some progress on that as well. Trump demands Sisi give up shipping, or give U.S. shipping, free passage through the Suez Canal. We're doing that with Panama, and now it looks like he's doing it with Egypt. I think he's trying to take credit. We're like, dude, we're doing a lot over here. We lost an F-18. It slid off our deck, damn it. We want some free shipping, free or passage through, which would be awesome for American companies. It'd be another excuse for people to want to export from our wonderful ports versus other ports, because we can go through the canal free. Trump is pretty damn good at the deal-making stuff. That's one thing we've figured out. The U.S.-Ukraine minerals deal hides secret agreements. Apparently there was 3 agreements. They only talk about the one, but I mentioned it yesterday. But there was multiple agreements. Nobody knows what's really in the other 2. And Ukraine, one of their Congress members, I think, was essentially saying, yeah, this bike passes Congress. Like, we're not even allowed to see it, essentially. So that's not good at all. So we'll see what happens with that. I doubt we'll ever find out, but some deals were made. And, we can speculate. It's fun to speculate, but we don't know. Apparently, the U.S. is ready to spend another 100 days working on the peace deal with Russia because at this point, like, United States has the deal. So we're like, all right, we're invested in this now. We want to see this stop, but if it doesn't, we'll offer them some help. And if we offer them some help, we're going to get some free shit out of the deal. Well, we're going to start this progression towards mineral rights and 50-50 and money put into accounts and blah, 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 blah. Here's what China stands to lose in the India-Pakistan crisis. There's a lot of problems with this whole thing. First off, it's on their borders. It's definitely something they don't want to see a nuclear war break out. But two, they're involved with both of these countries and economies, majorly. This has nothing positive for China. So China's trying to be like, hey, just be cool, guys. Yeah. Like, they always say stuff like that, but I don't know if they're really good at negotiating peace because they're not really good at it themselves. You know what I mean? They're like, well, just do what you got to do. I mean, shit, it's hard to offer up more than that. I don't think nukes are going to be allowed to use. This seems like, I haven't seen the attack happen yet, and we've well past the 36-hour time zone or time they laid out. I think Modi is probably going to handle this properly. It'll be interesting. This was one I was concerned about until kind of this morning, and then I don't know. I think I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to spin out of control. I think we got this. I don't know. I should be careful saying that, of course, but I think this is going to work out. German spy agency formally classifies the AfD party as right-wing extremists. See, the deep state does not want the conservative concept to move into policy, life, anything. And it would be considered an attack on them. And it is. Conservatism is absolutely opposite of what this progressive stuff is doing. Just complete, total opposite of it. So from their standpoint, yeah, it's all sorts of horrible. I don't know, some weird shit happened in the British elections. Somehow it helped Nigel Farage. Somehow, I don't know, it improved things. Sarah Pochin, I don't know, representing Nigel Farage's Reform Party, has won a by-election. I guess that's for people that are of both sexes. I'm kidding. In the Runcorn and Helsby constituency. They'd probably say it all douchey. Runcorn and Helsby, the constituencies. Yes, of course. 6 votes we're talking about. This gives the Labour Party 6 more votes. Oh, I see. Okay. That's probably what the 4 British fans I have out there would be like, dude, give us 6 more votes. It's some weird game they got going on over there, man. And you guys can't say anything. You have no rights. I don't know. It just seems like a bad idea. Screw the king. No offense. Not trying to be disrespectful, though. That could be. You could say F Trump, and it wouldn't bother me that much. I mean, right? So how mad can you really get if I say fuck the king, right? Like, I mean, come on. TikTok hit with a $600 million fine for breaching EU data protection rules. I think it's Ireland. Ireland's broke, is my guess. I think they were trying to sue Twitter, too, recently, by that stretch. I think they're literally just trying to get some cash. They're screwed. It's what I take. Ireland right now, pretty soon you guys are going to be trading in potatoes. That's what's going to be happening, folks. Yep. Start planting them. You're going to need them. But yeah, I don't know. They're going after ByteDance. Because they're moving the information to the data, or Chinese people have access to the data, whatever. Trusting TikTok right now under ByteDance is pretty stupid for anybody. But yeah, go for it. Britain is barring consumers from borrowing to buy crypto. There's the new regime, as they're calling it. They won't let you borrow money to buy crypto. I don't know. I mean, there's I could see both sides of this one. Like, would I want someone borrowing money to buy gold? And I'm like, not really. But then you're like, but it is an asset. And if you want to get a loan to get an asset, then right? Like, so, I guess with the terms, it would, depend, right? But, whatever. I don't care. Second teen charged with arson in connection to the New Jersey wildfires. As hard as it is to believe, there might have been some intentional fire starting going on. I know it's more fun to think that it was done with energy weapons. I'm not saying it wasn't. Not saying all of it was done one way or another. I am not binary in my terms. I just think it can be a lot of things at the same time. That's all. People get upset sometimes when I suggest that, such as that there might be barium and aluminum inside jet fuel. Like, it's probably true. It's probably true. By the way, this is a twofold story here. First, let's cover the story. More than 1.8 million Ninja Foodi pressure cookers recalled over burn hazards. What's funny is when I first saw this, I saw the headline, and I'm like, I couldn't read the whole thing. And I thought they were going to say, like, more than 1.8 million Ninja Foodi pressure cookers were sold. I was like, dude, my favorite appliance, damn near, I think it is my favorite appliance. It's my Ninja Foodi. This thing. I love this thing. I'm telling you, it's a pressure cooker. It's got an air fryer. It's like the whole 9 yards. This thing's a rock star. Now, this is the Canadian version. We apparently sell shit products to Canada. They're the only place where this 184,000 units that are being recalled were sold. There's a chance that the top, the pressure cooker top, can come off. I'm going to mention my two favorite things I use in the pressure cooker, and then I'm going to explain how this could happen, and it certainly can on mine. That's for sure. I'm 100% sure of that. My two favorite things to make in my pressure cooker, and this is where like a lot of people should consider it. Beans. You make beans, black beans, refried beans, any of the beans other than obviously split peas. Those cook very fast, but regular beans, man, hour to hour and a 30, depending on how soft you like them. Hour, they're still got a good firmness to them. Hour 30, they're like, man, you can they just fall apart in your mouth. Throw that, a couple ham bones or whatever in there. Oh, it is amazing. It'll be the best beans you've ever had. The other thing I love cooking it for is corned beef. Corned beef, man. I'll do an entire corned beef in there, and then I hit it with the air fryer at the end and kind of get a nice char on that black side. And I'll tell you what, it is awesome. That little fat back there. And if not, you can take some fire to it afterwards, whatever. But it cooks it amazingly. It's super juicy, very flavorful. I want to say like 45 minutes, and your entire corned beef is done. And fork tender, just so good. So anyway, those are my two favorite things. That said, the lid, when it gets pressurized, there's a little thing that pops up and goes, dink, right? And then there's a pressure release valve that you can open up. But once it pressurizes, it's impossible to turn. It's just too much pressure on the actual lid anyway, normally. So, but there's also a lock, and that little mechanism locks. That's what keeps you from being able to do it. Apparently, this crap Canadian version, you're able to spin it while it's unlocked. So probably karma mad at me for bad-mouthing this beautiful thing. But yeah, I can't get mine off. I actually have to release the pressure, and then the little thing falls down, and then you can kind of move it. But any pressure, it's just too hard to turn. But yeah, if you could actually open that while it was under pressure, holy crap, you could burn the shit out of yourself. So I don't know. If you guys have these particular models or numbers, and you're a honker up there, you want to probably turn that in. That's not good. This bummed me out a little bit. Not the wonderful picture here. I was like, that does look like a cartoon. Grand Theft Auto 6, for any of you guys who are Grand Theft Auto fans. I love Grand Theft Autos. Played them all. Grand Theft Auto 5 is easily one of my go-to games. A lot of people think it promotes violence. I disagree. I think just about everything promotes violence in our world right now. Video games, movies, TV, news, everything. So, I don't know. I feel like it's weird to selectively pick Grand Theft Auto. Much like many things, it's how you play the game. You don't have to necessarily run around and beat people senselessly. In fact, you run out of bullets. It costs you money, so you usually don't. But you can. If that's what you're into. Whatever. Grand Theft Auto 6 is the new one that's supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out this fall. They postponed it a year, or half a year at least. So we'll see what happens. But it's supposed to be coming. It's supposed to be bigger and better and greater. All right, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, mid-right. Oh, this was kind of stupid. Anyway, just ridiculous type stuff running around. Apparently, China's massive dam is slowing down the Earth's rotation, according to NASA. Okay, seriously, if you believe that, I've got a dam to sell you. I mean, that's like borderline one of the stupidest things I think I've probably... If NASA's actually said that, I hope that person's immediately fired, whoever was involved in that study or this piece of information. Apparently, we've got a Soviet-era spacecraft that is heading back towards Earth. It was sent out to Venus. It failed its Venus shot. I don't know if it was trying to go around Venus and it got stuck in and got looped back to us somehow or whatever. I don't know. Apparently, it's going to be crashing back to the Earth. They say within the next couple weeks or week and a half. Oh, they're saying, okay, re-entry around May 10th. Cool. They had a larger window, some story I was reading. So May 10th, they're expecting this thing is going to come back. They don't know where the hell exactly it's going to land. Should burn up. I don't know. Older Soviet-era satellite, basically. And finally, I don't know. I just thought I would bring this up. This lady, Asian chick, very, very attractive. My marriage and sex life was ruined by a common drug taken by millions. Please heed my warnings. It made me feel very sad that she's having these, Famika Sung Kiao is having these sexual problems. That's so unfortunate. But her husband, ex-husband, they've actually did break up. That's what'll happen. Her husband was taking a drug for the hair to help grow hair. It's called finasteride. This destroyed his libido. Dude just did not have any desires at all. And it's supposed to be pretty effective at helping keep your hair regrowth happening. There's a chemical that starts to get formed in the body, and that's what actually starts to shrink the follicles and blah, blah, blah. So this is supposed to keep that from happening. Whatever the case was, it also keeps your shlangy schlong from becoming, anything more than a turtle head. I don't know what we want to call it. All said, crazy nonetheless. Don't take that drug if you want to continue enjoying the presence of your wife or girlfriend or whoever you find yourself naked in front of. Happens these days. Got a great bit of music that I'm going to be doing today, the live show. If you don't want to join us live, you certainly can check it out afterwards. Got a really bunch of good songs from Rolling Stones. Very, very fun. So we shall be doing that coming up at 3 o'clock Friday. We do that every Friday. Also Thursday, Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And those same exact times on Thursday, I do my Law of One series. It's just a spiritual stuff. It kind of talks about where we come from, why we're here to a degree. Again, it's not really trying to step on the Bible in any way, shape, or form, but it does talk about kind of crazier things. And it really is, I find, like the Bible is excellent kind of like reference of history. I find this is really good advice on one, this ascension process that I believe very much that we're going through, and two, kind of daily living and how we can maximize that and make that more effective. So I do recommend the series. I also recommend you start at the first. I do 2 sessions each video, and then do an explanation of each, and it's a lot of fun, and I think spiritually very helpful, and I think something that's extraordinarily important to me. I mean, that's why I'm sharing it with you guys, and I'm also wanting to learn it even better. This I think is my 4th time through the information, and I'm enjoying sharing it with you guys and being a part of that experience learning, if you will. Or, experience teach, kind of both of the above. All said, I love you guys. We're going to continue to move forward together, I hope. At least I'm going to keep moving forward. I hope you guys will join me. I like to believe it, and it seems to be true thus far. But where we go one, we go all. We're a big, giant family. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.